Am I wrong for threatening to cut my parents off financially to stop my brother from proposing at my wedding? I, 27 male. I'll start this off by saying my wedding is scheduled for April because my fiance, 25 female, has always dreamed of a spring wedding. And I really like the idea too. I have an older brother though, 30 male, and last Saturday I was called over to my parents' house to talk about something, but they refused to tell me what it was until I got there. They even sat me down with my brother and told me that my brother wants to use my wedding as a perfect day for him to propose to his girlfriend. I hate stuff like that. I get so anxious. I'm like, just tell me now so I don't shit my pants. I was instantly mad and told them absolutely not, but they ganged up on me. I ended up so enraged to the point that I, one man, somehow backed all three of them into a corner. I told them that if they want to do this, they'll not only be uninvited, but I'll also cut off the financial support I've been giving monthly since they paid to have my golden child brother go through college by taking out a second mortgage. I landed a decently high-paying job and have been sending $500 to my parents monthly to help ease their mortgage. And I didn't ask for a stake in the ownership of their house either. It was entirely goodwill and I can cut it off anytime. I left without speaking anything more to them, but my brother came to my home the next day to yell at me, saying that I ruined his big chance because now our parents are siding with me and say they'll evict him if he tries to propose at my wedding. He said I was financially blackmailing our parents and that he just wanted a good chance to propose because he was afraid his girlfriend might leave him soon. It's like putting a band-aid on a gashing wound. Like, that's not, the solution is not marriage. And if he tries to propose at my wedding, I will have him thrown out. That's not a maybe, but a definite. I said that was his problem, not mine, because my wedding day is not about him, and I doubt his girlfriend would appreciate her proposal followed up and being tossed out by a bouncer. Honestly, I don't think any girl really likes getting proposed to at weddings. Like, I don't know why guys think of this idea. It's so lazy. He yelled a few choice words at me, then went crying to our only surviving grandparent, our maternal grandmother, and she called to try and read me over the phone. No surprise, my brother heavily embellished the version of the story he told her, but she still sided with him after I gave her the real story. She tried to hold her ground, but the verbal backlash I ended up giving her left her crying. Dude, it's like... I'm sorry, you made your grandma cry. That got back to my parents, who are now pissed at me for taking things this far. No, you didn't, your brother did. But I told them that I only went that far because I had to when they were all trying to get me to let my brother use my wedding as a springboard for a proposal. They ended up agreeing with me, but still stated they feel like I'm crass. And my brother showed up at my home again to scream at me that I'm an asshole, and I hope I'm happy with myself for not allowing him the opportunity. I thought I was entirely in the right at first, but maybe I really did take it too far with my brother. So, am I the asshole for everything I did and said to my brother and everyone else? Am I wrong for wanting to be a part of my best friend's birth? I, 24 female, was asked by my best friend, 25 female, if I would be in the delivery room with her when she gives birth. I was surprised when she asked me, but I was excited because that's a really beautiful and personal experience that not many people besides a spouse, partner, or close family get to be a part of. But we have always been friends since elementary school, and I've always viewed her like a sister and thought it was amazing that she viewed me like family as well, and I accepted. My best friend's husband, 26 male, got really mad when he found out I was asked to be in the delivery room. He and I have never really gotten along, and he rarely says a word to me when we're all hanging out. We don't argue or openly dislike each other though, and I just figured he wasn't a very sociable person. My best friend still wanted me to be there despite her husband not being okay with it, because it's her decision, it's not his. She's pushing out the baby, not him, so whoever gets to be in the delivery room is her choice. At first, I just thought he wanted it to be a private moment for him and his wife, and I was prepared to tell her that I would not intrude and I would just come visit her after the baby had came and they had settled in a bit. However, it was revealed to me that her husband actually didn't want me to watch her give birth because I am attracted to and have dated women. I was a little confused because I didn't see how that had anything to do with the situation. The story comes out that the reason he never speaks to me or acknowledges my presence is because he doesn't want his wife to be friends with the woman who likes women. He doesn't want me watching her give birth because that means I'll be looking at her naked and it might make me attracted to her or want to hook up with her. Gosh. He said that I had probably had a crush on his wife for years and I was just waiting for the right opportunity to get with her, and he forbid me from being in the room with them. I informed him that unless my best friend personally told me that she no longer wanted me in the delivery room, I was going to be there. Some friends have told me I am just being petty and could cause unnecessary problems in the relationship. I think that it is my best friend's decision who gets to be in there for her. So, am I the asshole? No, you're right. It is her decision who gets to be in the room. This dude sounds like a piece of shit.
Story time. Would you call this cheating? So a little background information. I was 16 and a sophomore in high school, and I was dating this guy who we're gonna call Tom, right? When we started dating, everything was super good. But a little bit into our relationship, I started to get the ick. Anything and everything he would do would literally irritate the hell out of me. So at that point, I told him that we should take a break. So we did. Well, while we were on this little break, I decided to go out with my cousin the one night. And she had brought this guy who she was talking to at the time. We're going to call him Jake. Jake and I had the same classes in school, but we never really talked to each other. Well, I started to get to know him throughout the night, and I realized we had a lot in common. I felt like he was flirting with me, so I decided to flirt with him. When we got home, I had told her how much I really liked Jake. We ended up FaceTiming and falling asleep on the phone together. We all hung out again the next day, and I invited him back to my house. So like I said, we all decided to hang out again the next day. It was really cold out, so I invited everybody back to my house. And when we got back to my house, we were watching horror films. And I was cuddling next to Jake on the couch. And listen, I wanted to kiss him really bad, but Tom and I had just gotten done with our so-called break. So I decided to be loyal and not do that. Well, a few days after Jake and I talking, I realized that I wanted to be with him and not Tom. So I decided to end things with Tom, and now Jake and I have been together for a year and 2 months, and we couldn't be happier. But every time that we bring up Tom, Jake always tells me that I cheated on him. Would you consider what I did cheating?
My dad took us out to dinner for my sister Skylar's birthday. She was as grouchy as ever. She cut a piece of her steak and put it in her mouth. Then she made a face and called out to our waiter. Hey, look here. I wanted my steak cooked medium well, but this is medium rare. You have to bring me another one right now. We were at the best restaurant in the city. I didn't think there was anything wrong with the food. My older sister loves yelling at people. Unfortunately, this is how she treats the cooks, the drivers, and the maids that work for us as well. She wasn't always like this. She changed a lot after my mom passed and became this insufferable person. The waiter apologized and took away Skylar's plate. My sister was still going on about how he had one job and still failed to do it. My dad tried to break the bad mood. Skylar, honey, today's your birthday. Don't worry about the steak. Why not enjoy yourself? Tell me now, are you curious about your birthday present? Skylar shrugged. Didn't you say you were getting me a yacht? My dad smiled. Yes, a yacht, but wait till you see it, he said, holding up a photo on his phone. I had it built in France. Apparently this is a huge hit with people your age right now. Skylar took my dad's phone from him to see. It doesn't look bad. How long is it? My dad took out a small gift box from his pocket. 40 feet. It's a sports yacht, so it's not too big, but I'm sure you'll love it. Happy birthday, honey. Here's the keys to your new yacht, he said, offering the box to my sister. Skylar was upset. She took the box and threw it away. 40 feet? Dad, are you kidding me? My friends will make fun of me. Is this tiny yacht what I'm worth to you? Then she jumped up. Eliza, call my driver now. He can pick me up from the entrance. Thankfully, I have friends who care about me. They're throwing me a birthday party. I've lost enough time here, she said, and left the restaurant. Dad looked really upset. Shall we walk? I said to him. We went outside. We walked silently on the promenade for a while. Then we found a bench to sit on. My dad was still shaken. I messed up everything after your mom died. I'm a bad father, he said. You are not a bad father. You did everything we wanted to help us forget about our loss. You did things we didn't even ask for. Unfortunately, I think that turned Skylar into a spoiled brat, but this isn't your fault. You only wanted to make us happy. Skylar might not be aware of it, but I can see that clearly, I said, and gave him a hug. Skylar stopped talking to us after that evening. Our house was so big that I didn't even run into her. Sometimes when I came home from school, I would see her driver. He would be carrying Skylar's shopping bags to her room. Dresses, perfumes, jewelry worth tens of thousands of dollars. Skylar spent most of her time shopping even though she didn't need anything. If she wasn't shopping, she was partying with other spoiled brats. One morning, I woke up to a knock on my door. When I opened the door, it was one of the maids. She looked really sad. Your dad and your sister are waiting for you in the grand living room. Unfortunately, things do not look good, ma'am, she said. I felt panicked. I put on some clothes real quick and went to the grand living room. There were a lot of people whom I'd never seen in my life. They were taking photos of the paintings and sculptures around the room, taking notes. Some men were carrying the artwork and pieces of furniture outside. My dad and Skylar were sitting on a couch. Skylar's eyes were puffy from crying. My dad got up when he saw me. Eliza, I didn't mean for you to find out this way, but I couldn't pay the loan I got from the bank for the construction of the dam. Unfortunately, the company went bankrupt. The bank is seizing all of our assets to pay off our debt. We need to move out of this house today, he said. Meanwhile, one of the men approached Skylar. Would you mind handing over your necklace and rings? We confiscated all the other jewelry in your room. The only ones missing are those you're wearing. We need to take those as well. In tears, Skylar did what the man told her to do. Then she turned to my dad. What kind of father are you? What are we going to do? Aren't you ashamed to be doing this to us? She screamed. I couldn't stop myself from screaming back at her. Enough! Aren't you ashamed of blaming Dad for this? You lived like a princess thanks to him. Now it's over. We need to take care of ourselves now. We moved into a small house in one of the worst neighborhoods in the city. Skylar and I were staying in the same room. I don't deserve this. I can't live like this, she was repeating to herself as she cried nonstop. Surely I missed our old days too, but that comfy life was in the past for us. We were no longer a wealthy family, and we had to fight hard to survive. Our house was really old. Nothing worked right. One night, Skylar's yelling woke me up. Damn it! Damn toilet! She was screaming. My sister came out of the bathroom a while later. The toilet was clogged. I had to clean the whole bathroom. Can you imagine? I cleaned it with my hands, she said. She seemed surprised she was able to do this. Welcome to the real world. It sucks. You're gonna love it, I replied. Our new life was difficult for me as well, but it was obvious that Skylar was going to have a much harder time. My dad was interviewing for jobs all the time, but he hadn't found anything yet. One evening, he came to our room. Girls, we have no money left. I can't give you any allowance until I get a job, he said. When Skylar said, Dad, I need to go grocery shopping. We don't have any food left in the house. He took out his wallet and gave her the last bill inside it. Skylar stared at the bill and said, I don't think $10 will be enough. My dad replied, This is it, honey. We need to stretch this for a while. Skylar was sad to see my dad so desolate. She decided to ask for help from her friends. Please don't ask anyone for money. You can work and make some yourself, I said to her, but she wouldn't listen. She called her best friend Ava and told her what happened. They were on a video call so I could hear Ava's voice. Ava asked, Skylar, your dad lost everything. You're poor now. How are you going to pay me back? When my sister said, I'll pay you down the line, I promise. You're my best friend. You have to help me. Ava got mad. I don't have to do anything. I think you should find some new friends that are better suited to your present situation. Don't call me again, she said. Skylar wasn't expecting this at all. When I saw her disappointment, I felt so sad. I went ahead and gave her a hug. She hugged me back. She started to cry softly. I stroked her hair and said, Sis, we're a family. When families come together, they can overcome anything. That night, I looked for a job that would be a good match for us. I found a waitressing job for Skylar and a dishwashing job for myself in a restaurant nearby. Skylar was cranky at first, but she had to accept it because she had no other option. We went to the restaurant after school. Skylar put on her uniform and came to me. Do you think I can do this? She asked. You probably can't, but you will still keep working until your shift's up, I responded. She embraced me laughing. This was the first time in a long time I'd seen her smile. I'd been washing dishes for hours. I peeked inside when I heard yelling. A customer was screaming at Skylar. Skylar walked into the kitchen holding the plate. The chef asked, What happened? What did she not like? Skylar replied, She said the food was cold. It's actually not my fault. It got cold because she was on the phone with someone, and yet she still wants another one. The chef took the plate and spat in it. Skylar and I couldn't believe our eyes. Then he heated up the food in the microwave and gave it back to Skylar. My sister was still in shock. You spat in the food, she said. The chef shrugged. This is how grumbling customers are punished. She shouldn't have yelled at you, he said. Skylar looked at me. I knew what she was thinking. She asked regretfully, Eliza, how many times do you think I got this punishment? Many, many, many times, I said. We went into a laughing fit for a few minutes. With the first paycheck we got from the restaurant, we did a huge grocery run. We got our dad a nice wine. Then we prepared a really nice dinner. Dad was really moved when he saw the table. I can't tell you how happy I am. I'm so proud of you. You've come a long way in such a short time. We're a family again, just like we used to be. Next morning when we woke up, Dad wasn't home. We found a note in the kitchen. Dad had put down an address on a piece of paper. Please come here, he wrote. Of course, we were very curious. We rushed to get ready and jumped in a cab. After half an hour, we arrived at the address that was on the note. This was a gigantic mansion. My dad was waiting for us in the front yard. He opened his arms wide when he saw us. "Welcome to your new house, my lovely daughters," he said. "What's going on, Dad? What is this place?" I asked. Dad replied, "I bought this house a while ago. I've been trying to decorate it for months. I'm sure you'll love it." Skylar asked, "Dad, didn't you file for bankruptcy? The bank took our house, our furniture, even my jewelry. How did you buy this place?" Dad smiled. "Please don't be mad at me. The bank didn't seize that house. I don't owe anything to anyone. I sold that house because I bought this one, and I wanted to play a little game with you. The movers were actually professional actors, and they really did a great job at playing their roles," he said. I thought I knew why my dad did this to us, but still I asked, "Dad, you tricked us? But why?" Dad looked at Skylar. "It's simple, because I needed us to be a family again. I was so sad about Skylar. I wanted her to realize some things, and I think I succeeded. Last night, for the first time since your mother's passing, I felt like we were a family again," he said. Then he turned to Skylar. "Do you think my little trick worked, honey?" he asked. Skylar said, "It definitely did. Thank you so much, Dad. I needed a lesson to see how spoiled I was," and hugged him. Then I hugged them both. We stood embracing each other in front of the house. After that day, Skylar never acted that way again. She made herself new friends and gave all her attention to her studies. And above all, she started treating restaurant staff very nicely in order not to deserve that unpleasant punishment.
When I was in elementary school, I was the type of kid who got disrupts class often on the report card, and I never focused much on my school. My district had this system where they would pair high schoolers with younger kids to help them with school, etc. My mom made me do that after I kept getting in trouble. My tutor was a freshman named Abby, and she would come to our house after school to help me with my homework or something. My brother John was the same age as Abby, so they would talk to each other and ended up dating. She stopped tutoring me officially after like a month, but since she was at our house a lot, I talked to Abby a lot as well, and we were close as well. Fast forward 10 years, Abby and John got married and had a kid together. 5 years later, John tells me that he's getting a divorce because he's met someone new. It sucked because I liked John and Abby together a lot, but whatever. He then tells me that he had an affair with his new girlfriend. Also sucks, and I told him that he shouldn't have hurt Abby like that, but whatever. I also asked Abby how she was doing, and she wasn't doing well, but she told me that she didn't want her to be the reason I have a bad relationship with my brother. However, 2 months before the wedding, Abby calls me and tells me that my brother's girlfriend has been harassing her nonstop. She showed me the text, and his girlfriend was saying some pretty disturbing things about how she's so much better than Abby, taunting Abby for having a shared custody of the kid now, etc. Just making fun of her and bullying her. I told my brother about this, and he said that he would ask his girlfriend about it. A month later, I asked him if he ever brought it up, and he said that he saw nothing wrong with the text, which pissed me off. I confirmed that he saw the same text that I saw. Abby apologized for involving me in the whole thing in the first place and encouraged me to still go to the wedding, where my brother asked me to make a speech. The speech went well until I made a joke. The gist of the joke was me turning to his new wife and telling her that if she's learned anything from this, she should know that my brother will never let his wife stop him from finding the love of his life. This got my brother and his wife really mad, and they kicked me out shortly after, and my brother has been calling and texting me nonstop yelling at me. Am I the asshole for making a joke about my brother's affair at his wedding?